I already told him we were ready, so, okay, we're good, let's go.
Okay, so we got the thumbs up. I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular called board meeting on March 21st, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Estill County Board of Education Boardroom located on Main Street in Irvin. So at this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. We always start by welcoming everyone and saying our Pledge of Allegiance. So let's stand. Brooklyn, do a couple of you girls want to come up here and lead the pledge? Riley, y'all come up here and lead the pledge.
Emma's on the ball.
Emma's on it.
Yep. Okay, you guys start us off. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, girls.
Them girls know there's a game on too.
Yeah.
That was the fastest pledge I've ever seen in my life.
We're ready to go.
Hey, we love student involvement, so thank you girls for doing
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
I'd like to remind everyone there's a sign-in sheet at the door when you come into the boardroom. At this time, Mr. Brock, are there any revisions to our agenda?
There are not.
Okay, so moving right along. First on our agenda is we have recognitions, and we have our high school student presentation. Mr. Yost, would you and Ms. Barnett like to come forward, or? Is Miss Miller here? I'm not for sure. Okay. Do you need a microphone?
I'm pretty loud.
We like for the,
People can't
we
hear
like
you
for the
without it,
viewers
so.
to hear it.
Fair enough. Well, we're dressed in our festive attire for this evening, so. We have two groups tonight. They're going to present for you all. First, Gear Up's going to make their annual presentation. And then we have some young ladies who have done some awesome stuff with SCCLA this year, who will be presenting to you all about their projects for their state competition coming up here end of next week. So we're excited for them to be here tonight. So Gear Up, we will start with you all. Ms. Tuttle, Ms. Kirkland, and Mr. Pruitt.
You don't want the,
Want the clicker?
yeah, I think it'll work.
Alrighty, my name is Ms. Kirkland. This is Mr. Pruitt and Ms. Tuttle. We are obviously Gear Up. The cohort that we're working with are the current 11th and 12th graders. We follow the students all the way through graduation, so we are on their 11th and 12th grade year. We are just kind of talking about the overview of what we've done already this school year and what we're planning to finish up for this school year. So currently, we have done a college and career day where 30 plus colleges and careers came and spoke with the students. The students got to network and make a really good connections with whatever pathway that they're interested in. We've done a senior day where Mr. Brock came and spoke with the seniors, but just really started the school year off on a good foot, a good momentum of to finish your last year at high school really good. And then at the end, we gave them milk and cookies because we love our seniors more than milk and cookies. Actually, next week is our transition fair. We are partnering with the special ed department and bringing in colleges and a bunch of other resources and businesses and community members to work with those students to help plan their pathway for after high school. And then we've also done college and industry visits all throughout the school year. But this year we're really focusing on targeted visits. So students have indicated, hey, I want to be a diesel mechanic or I want to be a nurse. So we really have refined those visits to colleges and industries based directly on what those students are interested in. And then also we just recently did Senior Job Shadowing Day, where every senior pretty much picked a career pathway, and they did a job shadowing opportunity with that. So.
And then another thing that we have done in the fall and the spring are our family nights. The one in the fall, students and families had to attend 2 out of our 5 fall nights. If they attended 2, then they got free cap and gowns. So we had 54 seniors that received their free cap and gowns paid for by Gear Up. And in those family nights, we did KIA information, upcoming FAFSA information, college information, and then 4 FAFSA workshops that we have had this spring, where students and families could come in and we would help them with completing the FAFSA. We'd bring in KIA representative Jocelyn Rice. And then if families were unable to make those dates, we've done one-on-one visits with them as well. And then community outreach, we have helped with the Elizabeth With Christmas party. This is actually our 3rd year in helping with that. So we take students, they help create the bags that are passed out, do the candy, wrap presents, get everything set up for that day, and then they come back and actually help pass those out to the community that day. We've been into the elementary schools with our reading buddies, with our leadership team and students that are interested in elementary education to kind of get them used to that atmosphere and see if they like it. And then this year, we had Brian Crow come in and do a voter registration day where anyone that was over the age of 18 was able to go ahead and register to vote.
So along with the getting their FAFSA done, we also did a college applications week. So that was an entire week where we went into like junior or mostly senior classes and tried to encourage them to fill out applications, and then also they could come and meet with us, and we would help them fill out any applications they wanted. And then if they couldn't do that, we would meet with them one-on-one. But then we took all the kids when they applied for college and they got accepted. We would take their picture, and we had a big bulletin board down in the front in front of the front office where everybody could see, and we could celebrate them getting that accepted into college. And so we have had over 80 seniors apply to either a college or a technical college. And then my specific job or whatever, I go into English classes, junior and senior English classes, and I help them with their work and all that. And then also I find a lot of times all they need is just an extra person there to motivate them to get the work done, or to let them know that they can do it, or give them a different way of looking at their problem. And so, yes. So then also, and with the ACT, sorry, I'm not good in front of it. With ACT, last year we had juniors and sophomores both take it. We don't have the scores back, as far as I know, this year for the one they just took. So I don't have that data. But the sophomores and juniors from last year, our juniors, their average went up on the English. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is good. They went up from a 16 to a 17 overall, so that's getting them closer to meeting that benchmark. And then when it comes to the reading, the state average that I found from ACT said that the state average for Kentucky was 23% of students that were juniors or whatever got a met benchmark on the reading test. And we had, our sophomores had 36% of them meet the benchmark. Right? Juniors was a little lower at 33, but still we're above benchmark or above the state average for both of those. So I think that's good. And with that sophomore class, they're already there. They just need that extra little bit. We can get, maybe 50 or more % to meet benchmark in that. So that would be good. That's all I have.
All righty, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you all.
Thank you to our Gear Up personnel. Thank you all for your support of these programs that we have. You all signed the MOUs to make sure we can continue to have these grant programs that help support our students at the high school. So we appreciate the opportunity to come and share that with you. Now we have our wonderful young ladies and Miss Wilson, their advisor, and they're going to come up and talk to you about their projects that they're going to be presenting at the state competition next week.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to share a wonderful club with you. I'm Riley Arthur, First Vice President.
And I'm Emma Taylor, Chapter President, and we want to take you on our Estill County Chapter FCCRA journey. As a student actively involved in the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, we We are thrilled to share with you the profound impact this organization has had on our life and lives of countless others.
FCCLA isn't just another club or activity. It is a transformative experience that shapes students into leaders, innovators, and compassionate individuals. From my perspective as a member, FCCLA is like a second family, a community of like-minded peers and mentors who support and inspire one another to reach our full potential.
One of the most significant aspects of FCCLA is its focus on personal growth and leadership development. Through workshops, conferences, and hands-on projects, I've learned invaluable skills such as communication, teamwork, and problem solving. These skills aren't just useful in school, they're essential in success for any career or endeavor.
Moreover, FCCLA has provided me with a platform to explore my passions and interests in family and consumer sciences, business, and other career pathways. Whether it's organizing a fundraiser for a local charity or planning a community service project, FCCLA empowers students to make a difference in their communities while honing in on their skills and talents.
But perhaps the most rewarding aspect of FCCLA is the sense of belonging it offers the members. Through this organization, I formed friendships and connections with peers from diverse backgrounds who share a common goal, to make a positive impact on the world around us.
FCCLA is about empowering students to become the best versions of themselves and to create positive change in their communities and beyond. I am incredibly grateful for the opportunities and experiences FCCLA has provided me, and I encourage every student to consider joining this incredible organization.
For our project, we are competing in the category of chapter and review display. For this project, we set a goal for our chapter to complete this year. FCCLA is the largest club at ECHS with 87 members, and we want to provide opportunities for students to be as involved as they desire to be in our club. This year, we attended the National Fall Conference in Birmingham, Alabama in November. We've attended our regional meetings as well this year at EKU and UK.
In February, several of our students attended Career and Technical Student Organization Day in Frankfort, Kentucky, with FBLA and FFA. Students had lunch with Representative Wesley and took a tour of the Capitol. The theme for the year is the ultimate journey, because FCCLA takes you on a leadership journey. On March 15th, some of our members attended an etiquette meeting in Lexington with Valerie Roberts, Kentucky's etiquette lady. She taught our members how to use good manners in a fine dining setting that we will be encountering at our state meet next week during our banquet. We're excited about our state meeting at the Galt House in Louisville next week.
To close with George, leadership is a journey, not a destination. We hope you have enjoyed our journey through the year with Estill County FCCLA. We've had a great year, and I'm excited to continue planning events to finish the year strong and along the way have the ultimate leadership experience. Our next group presenting is our community service project.
On a per mile driven basis, teens are 8 times more likely to die in the first 6 months of driving than adults. In 2022, half of teen passenger deaths happen when another teenager is driving. For every teen killed in a car crash, about 100 more are injured.
Car crashes are a leading cause of death for young people, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all teen deaths in America each year.
That's crazy. About 2,700 U.S. teens die of a car crash each year. That's the equivalent of a school bus loaded with teens crashing once a week for an entire school year.
A whole school bus? Most accidents involving a teen driving can be attributed to driver error. Speed often is involved in many incidents or single vehicle accidents. According to the Kentucky State Police, 290 teens were involved in alcohol-related collisions across the state during 2021. Of those 290, 13 were fatal.
These statistics are scary. What can we do for students who are driving in Estill County?
Let's work with our FCCLA chapter to spread the word to the students in our school. Let's call it. Hi, I'm McKenna Tanner, Vice President of Public Relations. I've been in FCCLA for 3 years now, and this is my second year as an officer.
And hi, I'm Nebraska Plowman, Vice President of Membership. I've been in FCCLA for 2 years, and one of them, officer. And this is our community service project. When you're distracted, who's driving? To begin this process, we used our FCCLA planning process. We wanted to identify our concerns in our community, which was people distracted while driving. We all know phones are a serious issue these days. Not wearing seatbelts and driving under the influence. We will set up a table in the cafeteria and get students to sign our pledge to drive safer. The pledge states, I make this pledge both bold and brave, so someone's life I will help to save. Watch my speed, stay awake, and know the difference of drinking and alcohol. Buckle up and avoid distractions deadly actions. We set up a table in our cafeteria and quizzed students on traffic issues, and we had students take the pledge and sign our banner. We also set up at a basketball game, encouraging parents and our opposing team to sign our pledge and banner. 89% of our drivers at Estill County High School signed our banner. We also got permission to sit outside during dismissal and hand out information along with Smarties to drivers that were being safe by wearing a seatbelt and not being on their phones.
We are really trying to get first at state so we can make it to nationals this summer in Seattle, Washington. Our project is still ongoing throughout this year.
We plan to host a ghost out in April. Through this program, students learn the hazards and consequences of operating a vehicle while under the influence, and the importance of wearing safety belts. Every 15 minutes, there is a dong sound that goes off over the intercoms throughout the day. 15 victims are chosen who represent people who have lost their lives due to a motor vehicle accident. We hope this presentation will stay in the minds of our classmates during fall time.
This project is directly related to SES class assignment Consumer and Family Services pathway. Some of the areas contained in this pathway include human services, mental health services, family and community services, personal care, decision making, and goal setting. Classes directly related are Facts Essentials and Relationships. Facts Essentials and Relationships assess risky behavior and risky choices that are out loud and what the outcome could be. Facts Essentials also spends time on the effects of drugs, tobacco, and alcohol. Thank you for allowing us to share our project with you. By the way, have you signed a pledge to drive safer?
Very important, and we have some pledges too. And now we're gonna have our career investigation.
Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." My project is called Career Investigation. My goal is to become an elementary school teacher after I graduate high school. For my project, I researched the salary, job expectations, and education required to become a teacher. I also got the experience to observe Miss Kylie Flynn and her fantastic students. This project has confirmed that I truly want to be a teacher. Through the Family and Consumer Services pathway, Consumer and Family Services, I have taken the following classes to prepare me for my future career. Relationships discuss conflict and resolution, how to communicate effectively, and how to handle issues in the workplace, and how to build strong relationships with students and with coworkers. In middle to late lifespan development, we learn the principles of human growth and development across the lifespan, and how to apply knowledge of a child and adolescent development to help create a developmentally appropriate teaching strategies. After watching the teachers around me, including my mom, I'm reminded that teaching is not merely a profession, it is a calling. My investigation into teaching has reinforced the idea that education is not just about imparting knowledge. It's about nurturing minds, fostering curiosity, and building a foundation for a lifetime of learning. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you to Emma, Riley, Nebraska, McKaylin, and Brooklyn for their presentations. We're really proud of each of you young ladies, and Ms. Wilson for the job you do with them. We're, again, very honored to have the opportunity to present to you all tonight about some of the great things that are happening at ECHS. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Yost.
Mr.
Ms.
Yost. Thank you to our students for coming tonight. I know some of you may have ball games and things that you need to go to. If you need to leave, that's fine. Next on our agenda, we have our action items. Mr. Brock, do you have anything to say before we start with these?
No,
Okay.
we're good.
I'll let them get out the door. Thanks for taking
Thank you
the
all.
visit.
See ya.
Yeah,
Good luck.
did a great job.
Antonio. See you, buddy.
Okay, our first action item that we have is consideration for approval of the 2023-24 school year ARC chairperson, CCSD representatives.
It's, this is something we have to do every year. Do you want to, I mean, you can,
This one is just to amend it and add Tanya Miller, and so that
Because
was
of the
only
change.
reason we had to redo it so she can chair meetings.
yeah,
Okay.
because of the change there at the school, but it's something we do every year. We usually do it in July, but this is for the addition, so it's my recommendation we approve it.
Okay, so I need a motion for approval as discussed. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Tammy Hardy makes a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor at this time? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next on our agenda, we have consideration for approval of the district technology plan for the 24-27 school year, through the 27 school year.
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Brock?
it's something we have to do just like before, every so often. We've got our district technology plan. Mr. Simpson probably could tell you more about it. It's my recommendation that we approve the district technology plan.
Okay. I need a motion for approval of the district technology plan for the 24 through 27 school year.
Make a motion.
Brian Covey makes a motion, Sheila Samples makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda, I have consideration for approval of an emergency certification for the middle school.
So this year we had a teacher that we've just hired in recently. They have their paperwork for math. We need them also to teach some science classes, so we've got to get a certification for that. Anytime you get an emergency certification, it has to have board approval. That'll just be for the remainder of this year. We will not need it next year, but it's my recommendation that we approve the emergency certification.
I need a motion for approval of the emergency certification for the middle school as discussed. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do I have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. Next on our agenda, we have consideration for approval of a music and choir teacher for the middle school and the high school.
So this is something that the district had historically done. I think it got cut last year. We've made some moves around this year. I feel like this is a population that we need to serve better. So that's why I'm approaching the board to ask for this position back. And it's something that we can do to build our music and our choir program, and then also our performing arts as well. So it's my recommendation that you all approve it.
So I need a motion for approval of a music and choir teacher for the middle school and the high school. Tammy Hardy makes a motion, Carrie Smallwood makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next on our agenda, we have consideration for approval of the district GT services and a coach.
So this is, it's worded a little bit differently than probably what the position itself will be. Miss O'Brien is our GT coordinator, although she does wear lots and lots of hats, and she does a good job with everything that she has and has to focus on. But specifically our extended services, which would include our gifted and talented, GSP, GSE, those type of students, and our extended services to our students who want to improve in whatever area it may be. I think that it's something that the district can do a better job doing, not just for gifted and talented, although that would be part of the scope, but also tying back to the music and the choir and the performing arts and drama programs. So this particular position would focus on those extended services, but also building drama, arts and humanities, performing arts within our district. Everybody knows we have an amazing band, and so we have lots of talented kids. We want more opportunities for them to showcase their talents. So that's why I'm recommending that we approve this position.
I need a motion for approval of a district GT services and a coach. Sheila Samples gladly makes that motion. Do I have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next on our agenda, we have consideration for approval of the following out-of-state trips. We have the Estill County Middle School Student Council to participate in a 2-day trip to Louisville, Kentucky, and then also a FCCLA state competition. Mr. Rock, would you like to add anything to that?
Well, just the middle school, they're going to participate, obviously. The FCCLA is going to participate in the state championship, and it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the board has aided in any of those state competitions, and this is not just approval for the trip, it would be for that aid as well. So it's my recommendation we approve both.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of the out-of-state trips as discussed. Tammy Hardy makes a motion. Shayla Samples makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next on our agenda, it brings us down to our consent items. Mr. Brock, would you like to discuss those?
Sure, these are just the standard things that we have every month with the addition of one. It's the minutes from February, also the treasurer's report and paying the bills, which you have. The only one that we've added, and I added this because my cohort suggested that we put this on here. Obviously, when I'm going to cohort meetings, when I go to these conferences, when I'm going to Frankfurt, you all are aware of that. But it's just recommended that you put every month under the consent items for approval of that travel, so.
Okay. So I need an emotion to approve the consent items as discussed by Mr. Brock. Shayla Samples makes a motion, Brian Covey makes a second. Do we have any discussion or any questions? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next on our agenda brings us down to Mr. Brock's report. Give us an update.
Okay, so as you all know, we have lots of good things going on in our district. Just recently, we had the director from CKEC, Central Kentucky Educational Co-op, came and spent half a day, visited some of our schools, looked at the coaching that we've got going on, looked at some of the plans that we have for looking at data within our district, and then just goal setting and trying to improve academically. I thought that was an honor to our district that he wanted to come see that. We also had the opportunity for some of our coaches and principals to be showcased in their first ever EduCons, what they're calling it this year. It'll be a conference similar to the Continuous Improvement Conference and these different conferences throughout the state. When I talked to Mr. Young when he was here, they currently have 370 people that signed up for their EduCon conference, and about 80 to 90% administrators. So it's an honor to our district for them to have the opportunity to present, to showcase some of the good things that we're doing. Really quickly to throw in here, because like I said, last month, my cohort wants me to do specifics. So specifically, Standard 5, we've been building systems for academic improvement when we're looking at data. We've got an upcoming diagnostic where we should get a lot better idea of where we are at. We continue to have data meetings with principals. We did purchase another resource next year, which would be Mathematics Simple Solutions for K through 8. I know the elementary principals like that. It's been beneficial, and we've added it to the middle school because Ms. Halcomb had met with them, and she was excited about what it would bring to the middle school. And then constantly, I'm aggravating legislators to death about funding for a middle school and funding in general. I will say that if the current budget holds, and I'm hearing we may even get a bump in funding beyond that, between the seat base and between transportation dollars and between what they have put in Tier 1, we'll get about $1 million bump next year, our district specifically. I'm hoping that they put some more money in Tier 1. I spent 3 hours in a meeting the other day about it specifically up in Frankfurt. It would definitely help to shrink that gap that we are facing with property-rich versus property-poor districts. But it would be very beneficial for us. So at least we are getting a little bit of a bump there. Standard 6, we had a partners meeting on March the 6th where we had the different partners from the community and the chamber came in, and we really looked at this commercial and these commercials we've got going and how we can start to highlight the community as well within that. Had a really good meeting, had some really good ideas. They're going to send us different video clips and things that they've already done so that we can get that into our commercials, and then things that we want to do to plan on going forward for next year, not just to highlight our schools, but also our community. I know that I was trying to remember who had clips.
Joe Crawford.
It wasn't Joe that had the clips. Anyway, we're going to use it to highlight the community. They are coming for the Mushroom Festival, and they're doing exclusive on that as well. So that's just some of the things that we've got going on. Enrollment as of 3/18 with South Urban was 2,205. Without South Urban, it's 2,066. And our ADA up to date as of yesterday or today was 91.47%.
Okay. Next on our agenda, if no one has any comments or questions, we'll move right along. Next on our agenda is our principals report. Ms. Arvin, would you like to go first?
I actually went ahead and laid some flyers on your table and a statement sheet together. I just wanted to, yes, that's it, Ms. Samuels. I just wanted to showcase, I chose 3 separate things to talk about. We have been very pleased to have a winter garden club at our school this year, and the girls are comprised of some folks that might not have participated in any other school club, but they really got into the winter garden club and worked hard. They went to a showcase competition and did a fantastic job and showcased a lot of advanced skills that some of the other elementary teams didn't show. So we were very pleased with them.
You're gonna get me if I don't bring you the
Yes. The second thing that I'd like to showcase is that our school has participated in a Bounce grant this year. Bounce is a training to help teachers become more trauma-informed aware and notice more about how that impacts how students are working within the schools and how trauma impacts learning. So Joe Barjone, Dr. Joe Barjone, is a wonderful person that has been here supporting us through this whole process, and he hosted a family night. So the stapled paper that I provided to you is a list of things that he went through with the parents, and he calls this the assets each student needs to have within themselves to be more resilient. And so he talked with families about how you can promote those assets within your children, and you can see it's broken down by ages. So it was very applicable to each family that was sitting there around those tables with us. And it was very powerful to hear the discussions that the families were having that night. And they all, of course, I'm very happy that all the parents think their children are wonderful. And, you know, they were talking about all the great things. But then when you put it in the light of, well, here are the great things my child has to be resilient, it was a wonderful event. The next thing that I wanted to showcase was this Mobile Science Activity Center. It was absolutely phenomenal. It is hosted by the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. And as part of that visit, we also invited Miss Kentucky, who is, I want to make sure I say her name right, Miss Mallory Hudson. And she really talks around Kentucky about the importance of science education. So our 3rd through 5th grade students got to go visit the activity center, and then the entire school came together for an assembly where she read them a book and talked to them about the importance of science and supporting each other. So those are 3 big things I'm proud of, but we have lots of things every day, and we welcome you any day that you can come over and visit.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Arvin.
I can go without it, that's fine. I only have a couple of things I want to tell you.
Next
I
we
was gonna
have-
pull up the
We
Facebook
have
page.
Ms. Hall from South Urban Early Learning Center.
Yes, so you can't see our Facebook page, but if you could, you would see that the time of year right now is recruiting students for preschool. So we recruit for preschool all year long, that's one of the requirements. But when March comes, that's when we heavily recruit for the next school year. So right now, we have 65 students already scheduled for their screener. That's more than we have had the last 4 years that I know about. We have never had 65 students already scheduled at this time. We have 2 in April, they're completely booked. We have 1 in May, it's completely booked. July is about half booked, and then we have a date to be determined as needed. So we may be adding some more screening days, but Please spread that word. It's on Facebook. There's some nice flyers on there. It's very easy, the process. There's a QR code that families can register online, and then they get a call from us, and we'll schedule the screening and see if they qualify. Another exciting thing that I would like to share is that CAC recently has shared with us that their enrollment is different than ours, and the kids get, I'm not going to explain all of that to you, but they have different qualifications, and one of them is income-based. One of the ways that a student could possibly enroll in Head Start this next year is if they have had siblings that have a PEBT card, which for our county would be anybody that's been in our system that has a 4-year-old or 3-year-old child. So please encourage anybody within our county that has a sibling that's in elementary school or any school to call us to enroll. That's all I'm going to.
Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you.
On deck, we have Ms. Tasha Halcomb from the Estill County Middle School.
I'm going to be really quick. We have a lot of amazing things happening right now at the middle school. I am actually currently multitasking and watching our girls softball team play at the moment, and we are beating RDC 5-0. So they're doing a great job this season. Our baseball team got their first win the other night, and they beat our rivals, Powell County. So that was their first win. We've put on there their sports calendar for their home games. We encourage you all to come out to those. We have a lot of kids who are participating in spring sports this year, and they are really, really excited. Our curriculum and coaching snapshot for March, every teacher in our building has now implemented GradeCam, and we are monitoring that data weekly. We're moving towards a more data-driven school. Coaching sessions with Sarah Beard are going fantastic. The teachers are working extremely hard. We are upping that rigor and really focusing on our kids and making sure that we're hitting those power standards. We're having data chats with our students weekly. We're really focused on our 8th grade kids right now who are getting ready to transition into high school and focusing in on them to make sure that they are prepared to go on to the high school. But that's happening at all 3 grade levels in our building right now, is those data chats. And those have been very impactful with our teachers and students. You can see here our students in action. This is their hot air balloon unit that Miss Sarah Beard worked on with our STEM teachers, who are our math teachers. And they have truly enjoyed those enrichment classes and getting to do projects, hands-on projects that involve writing, math, engineering, different things like that. So those have been very beneficial to our students. Our PBIS meeting, this is something that we've been really focused on this year, is rewriting those school-wide expectations. We've got those now. We're using track. It's a little bit different than the high school, but it's still the staying on track. So it's kind of consistent across the board. We're looking at attendance data, behavior data, and all of that every month. We've also now started to incorporate SEL modeling lessons in our PBIS meetings so that the team leaders in our PBIS meetings can take those back and incorporate those into the classrooms and have SEL lessons in our Tier 1 across the school. So there's a lot of great things happening at the middle school. I want to personally invite each and every one of you all out to our Blue Carpet Awards on Wednesday. That's this Wednesday from 6 to 7:30. We set a goal to have 200 people RSVP for this awards night, and we are currently at 358. So this is going to be a huge event, and we are extremely excited. These kids are talking about it. I'm getting parent phone calls every day. So hopefully we are going to pump up our kids right before testing and show them how important it is and how much we appreciate them. So come on out anytime. We are happy to have you.
Thank you, Ms. Halcomb. Next on deck, we have Ms. Mullins from Estill Springs.
Good evening. I also have left a flyer for each of you. I'm not going to tell the person who tried to help us expedite this process tonight, but his initials are JY. So he knows the cats are playing. So I won't speak too long. I won't go through every picture on here, but I want to let you know that spring is such an exciting time in the schools. It's a very stressful time. The stakes are very high. The teachers, the kids all feel the weight of the end of the year and what they want to accomplish, but it's such a refreshing time in the same sense. A picture I don't have on here, though, that I wanted to share is I was able to spend time today in our third grade classrooms as they did some goal setting for the upcoming diagnostic and as we near our KSA test this spring, and hearing them be very intentional about what their personal goals are allows us just even more of an opportunity to celebrate growth as a whole. Growth looks different for every kid, but having those individual conversations is what really values that, and I was able to be blessed today to sit in on that. We also are having our Blue Carpet Awards this week. Ours are tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and thanks to Ms. Halcomb, we're bringing our sixth graders back to Estill Springs tomorrow afternoon to participate in that, and we are looking forward to using this as a moment to acknowledge the work that those students had done, but also build some momentum for the spring and the upcoming assessment calendar. Our spring parent-teacher conferences are next week as well, and we look forward to meeting with our families. We are hatching chickens, we're having magic shows, we're creating electricity in fourth grade. We've brought in Jim Caldwell, of which one child said his name was Jim Cobwebs, so he'll forever be Jim Cobwebs. But we've talked about safety, we've talked about growth, we've talked about all of the things that make a school day phenomenal at Estill Springs. And as always, you're always welcome to come down and visit. Miss Sheila, I'm sorry I let a chilly day go by and I didn't tell you.
I probably couldn't have come.
Okay, but I'll keep you posted on the next one. But we're having a great month of growth in all aspects at Estill Springs. And growth just doesn't mean academic growth. It's seeing that social emotional growth. It's seeing them grow in kindness and in friendships. And I'm sad to see it coming to an end. I'm sad for the fifth grade class that we're about to lose, but I'm awfully proud of them. So thanks for letting me have a moment to share.
Thank you, Ms. Mullins. Mr. Yost?
What the other principals didn't realize is I wasn't interested in the Cats game. I just wanted to steal all their extra time to brag on the high school. So, it's been a really great last month at the high school. I first want to brag on our kids for March 12th. They did the ACT for the juniors, and our freshmen and sophomores did their IXL diagnostics that day. Seniors did their job shadowing. Ms. Barnett worked with the teachers to do a goal-setting template for every student, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade for their growth they wanted to see both on IXL for the freshmen and sophomores, as well as the ACT for the juniors from their score last year as sophomores. And that was a really meaningful experience for our students to be able to do that individual goal setting. So thank Ms. Barnett for her work getting that set up with our teachers. Again, we want to encourage you all to come out on Saturday. The marching band will be having their end-of-the-year banquet, and they'll be receiving the Sudler Shield Award that night as well. It's going to be a great night out there. Starts 6 o'clock. We'd love to see you all come out to the gym that day. I also didn't know Ms. Combs was going to be here, so I don't want to steal any of her thunder, but I did want to brag on some of our students who've done some awesome stuff in conjunction with the ATC recently. HOSA had their competition and placed first in parliamentary procedure, even though I was triggered today when I went over there and saw the Robert's Rules of Order copy laying on one of the tables, and that just was terrifying. But they've placed fifth. One of their students placed fifth in healthy living. They had fourth in healthy living. It said top 5 on the webpage, sorry. But then they had their TSA competition over the past week, even though they returned late. Thank you, Allison Banks. I had to tease her today. I told her I'd tease her. But you see on the paper there, Mason Isaacs first in CAD, Ethan, Braden, William, Darvik, Lane, and Kenton first place in drones. Brianna, Marley, and Maddie were first place in audio podcast, and then Landon and Zach were second in structural design and engineering. FBLA had their regionals. LSEL took first place in accounting. And, of course, our girls basketball team. I want to thank everybody in the community for this one. It was a tremendous night that night in the finals out there. That gym was packed in a way I hadn't seen it packed since my first year when we played Powell County. So we had a tremendous crowd out, and it was wonderful to see our girls go on a run like that. First time in the 14th region, they'd reached the finals, and it was just a great atmosphere there at the high school. I want to thank Austin Moore and all of the athletics team for hosting the event, and it was truly an experience. A couple of dates there for you again. Prom, Saturday, May 4th. Graduation is set for Friday, May 17th at 7 o'clock. I had one date I did not put on here, but I want to make sure I invite you all to. May 16th, we'll be having our senior breakfast that morning. We'd like to invite Mr. Brock, central office staff, board members, any of you all who would like to come and be a part of that event for our seniors. That'll be in the morning before graduation practice. We'll start around 8:30. So if you want to come out to that, we'd love to see you there. And then the update on the data we have right now, we'll get the ACT results for juniors sometime around spring break. And we're up to 84% post-secondary readiness now with the class of 2024. We'll get our EOP scores back April 16th. That is the date we'll receive those. We're up to 46 students in the class with high-demand industry certs. And now 76% of the class of 2024 has met the academic readiness benchmark, which is a great number. So we're excited about the progress and the growth that we're seeing at ECHS every day. Our coaching, our standards work continues. We had Clinton County's high school principal come out and visit us earlier this last month. And it's wonderful when we get to share what we're doing with these other schools. And, you know, of course, Mr. Brock, they came with the gentleman the other day to come see our coaching sessions and talk about some of those things. So anytime you all want to come out, please come join us at the high school. We'd love to have you come visit us.
Thank you, Mr. Yost. Next, we have Miss Tammy Combs, and we have been anxiously waiting for her to come to our board meeting to give us an update on our ATC. So we are so glad you're here.
Okay. So I've given you a little bit of a snapshot, and that's just where we are right now. So let me get my glasses on. Sorry, not been here in a while. He wants to get back to the game. All right, so I'll go through each little category that we have. So, you know, we have 5 programs, and in those 5 programs, we have 9 pathways. In our dual credit, we have increased our dual credit. We have 220 students that are receiving dual credit with 24 dual credit classes this year, which is, it's really great because these kids get 2 work-ready scholarships, you know, and so most of all these kids are getting this for free. And even if they're not, if they pay for a class, it's $93 a credit hour, so it'd be $279 because they're doing dual credit. If they have to pay full price, once they graduate, it's $558. So I'm not really a mathematician, but if I did the math correctly, it's about $61,000 worth of dual credit that we have given our kids. So at this point, I'm very proud of that. With our instructors, like I said, we have 5 CTE teachers right now. Our spring enrollment is 520 students. All of our pathways are high demand. Overall accountability. So work-based learning is at the top of our forefront. We have 15 students out right now, and they're working. We have Mans, Chrysler, Ford. We've got IT 2 students here with the board. Love's Trucking, Boyd Cat, Urban Nursing Home, Richmond Nursing Home, Estill Medical Clinic, Mercy Health Hospital, and clinics at this point this semester. So we're very proud of that. Our nurse aides, we had 93% of our nurse aides pass the first time taking the state exam. So we're proud of that. He went over our Skills USA, HOSA, and TSA, or HOSA and TSA, but our Skills USA will be in April, so we've got a few weeks for that. At the top of the list, we currently, as of today, have entered 147 industry certifications in high-demand areas into TEDS as of today, when I ran that report. 154 students that are considered concentrators with at least 2 credits on their transcript as of now. So we're proud of that. Moving over to new things that we have. Jumpstart is a new program we have in our building with Bluegrass Community Technical College. And they taught Bio 137 in the fall. Those instructors come to our school, and they're there on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We have an instructor with theory on Tuesday, Thursday, lab on Fridays. And currently, we have a math teacher there on Mondays and Wednesdays. Last semester, the students actually took a psychology class online. I have a meeting tomorrow with BCTC, and we're going to be talking about what our dual credit is for next year. Another new thing is we hired Nancy Crew. She is our Kentucky College coach through AmeriCorps. Nancy is a wonderful asset. She is a retired administrator for the Madison County Health Department, and her connections are amazing. She's done so much for us, and she's working individually with students. She's working on resumes. She helped a kid do a job application this week. So she's pulling them individually and working with them. She's working with the classes. So we're really excited to have Nancy. I want to keep her. Things that are upcoming are nurse aid pinning ceremony. We started that last year. So the nurse aides that passed their state exam, they will have a little ceremony at the ATC on April 23rd. May 7th is our ATC Senior Awards Night. We started that last year. We'll do that in the auditorium. And then May 21st is our advisory meeting for all of our programs. And I send out invitations for those. Industry certs, I added those, but we won't talk about that. They're just listed. Let's see if there's... I've added our volunteers, and the reason I put those on there is because Mr. Ronald Mullins and Bobby Snowden are some of the biggest assets we have at our school. Bobby was almost in tears this morning when we were talking about TSA and them winning. He has worked with drones every day after school and the afternoons. He's cleaning the lab. He's like, we love Bobby. And Ronald's there 2 days a week, and he wants to be there more. But they're wonderful. So I have to tell you how much we love them. Let's see. Okay, moving on down. So we were talking about BCTC and what we have going on with BCTC. I am in contact with them about night classes, too. One is a CDL class, and one is a nurse aid class. Now, the problem with these night classes are finding instructors that are willing to come and do it. I had a night class scheduled to begin in January, and it was maintenance mechanic level 1 with industrial maintenance, and it didn't make. So we're going to try that one again because it's a certificate program, but we're also going to talk about the CDL and the nurse aid. So we're going to attempt the one that didn't make and try to add 2 more. So
what you're saying, Ms. Combs, is we didn't have anyone in the community that signed up for those classes in the evening.
Nope.
So that's one of the things when we started the ATC that we heard from the community is we want night classes. So community, this is your chance. It's gonna be coming up. We will be advertising. It's gonna be on social media. It will be advertised heavily. So please support our ATC. You ask for it and you're gonna get it.
Yeah, and if people don't already have a degree, the Work Ready Scholarship are for adults too. It's not just our kids in high school. So they could take these classes and do this certificate for free, just like our kids do.
It's
Excellent
wonderful.
opportunity.
It is. We were disappointed that we didn't have anyone, and Mr. Bargo was the teacher, so he had, we have to go through paperwork for him to teach a night class. And for the facility to be used after the hours with BCTC essentially being the entity that it's coming from. So we went through a lot of hoops to get it, and then we didn't have anybody sign up.
Ms. Combs, have you thought about attending any community meetings like Kiwanis, the Chamber, and places like that to get the word out?
Actually, Adult Ed, we had invited them over, so they were at our meeting. And then BCTC went to a meeting here on my behalf to advertise. So we did a couple things.
Joe Crawford does the talk show on the radio. That would be a really good place to advertise, to get the word out also.
And I know that Adult Ed is having an event on the 26th from 1 to 4, open house in BTC. Be there.
Yeah.
And we've been approved for welding.
Yes. So, in the fall, the viability study was completed, and there were over 200 students that indicated per their survey they were interested in the program, and then we were approved late November. So the big question is, what's this going to cost to open the program? So our last quote that we got was $370,000 plus a $75,000 electric. Partners that we have, when we do a viability study, we have to have partners that say they're going to support. And we do have Link Belt. They were here this week and they met with Mr. Brock and I. Very good partner. He suggested Waste Management. I made that call. They called me today and they're excited. And they really wanted to know what I was interested in. So they're putting together a package for me and we're gonna meet next week. We also had Southeast Apparatus, Steam Heritage, IKORCC, Estill Development Alliance, and then Mr. Bill Wesley. The plan is we would like to have someone on board and hired by July 1. But we're excited to get it started. The kids are excited. The buzz is about it. So we would like to see that happen.
Yeah, we got to continue to beat the bushes and try to find help and sponsors and
Right.
for financially, obviously, so.
And I've done different quotes today. I had another company in for a different exhaust system that I went to a school and looked at, and they gave me their price they had. So I was looking at, what can they do for me? And so I had someone else in there today, so.
It's very exciting. We're glad that you came to the meeting. People have been asking us for an update, so thank you for coming and sharing. And we're not only proud of our ATC, but all of our schools and the progress that's being made. Do you have anything further, Mr. Brock?
Nope.
Thank you, principals. I would like to ask that we consider making these flyers part of our board meeting minutes.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of effort and time that's put into these, and there's such good information in these. So in the future, I would like to make a motion that these be included as part of our board meeting minutes.
Okay, we can do that.
Unless somebody else has anything.
Excellent.
Yeah, it has a lot of good information in it, so thank you all. I refer back to those for dates lots of times too. I don't know if you all do, but.
Yes.
Do we have any public comments, Mr. Norton? Okay, and is there anything the board would like to share? I think Mr. Yost pretty much touched on what I had written down to share, and that had to do with hosting the 14th Regional Girls Tournament, and our community partners were amazing. They not only provided food for hospitality rooms, but they also had booths and take-homes and all of those things. So our community partners, just as Ms. Combs was sharing about the financial contribution that they make to the ATC, they make it to everything involving our children in the school district. So we could not make it without you all. And it was not only community partners from Estill County, but also from Powell County. And so we really appreciate you all, and thank you for that. Does anyone else have anything else before we close the meeting?
I did just want to add that Estill Springs is hosting the Region Academic Tournament on Saturday. I know the last time they did that was when Lauren was in school, so it's been a long time.
Yeah,
But that's an awesome opportunity for us to show off our school district as a whole. And I appreciate all the extra help that maintenance has provided for us this week, just getting everything kind of spruced up. But that's a big deal. It's Estill, Estill Springs, West Urban, and then all Madison County schools. So if you're out and about on Saturday, we're doing a concession stand. We'll have hospitality room if you want to stop by and just grab a sandwich and kind of just check in and see how things are going. But that's just a good opportunity for us to get our face out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just a couple of other things that I had written down. I will be leaving early in the morning for the KSBA State Conference. I serve on the State Board of Directors. We will be hosting KSBA State Board of Directors meeting again in September. So more information will be coming on that, and Mr. Yost put that on your calendar. We'll be getting more information to you about that. And the last comment that I have, and I've already shared this with Mr. Brock, a few weeks ago I had the opportunity to meet with our Governor of Kentucky, Andy Brashear. I had a private bill signing with him, myself, and 9 other ladies that were there. And when I introduced myself, he immediately knew who I was, and he said, Estill County ATC. He said, I'm so proud of that facility. It's beautiful, and that is part of my initiative in improving workforce. So he immediately connected all of that with Estill County. So I thought that was pretty special, and I already shared that with Mr. Brock. So thank you all once again. I guess if no one else has anything, I need to call for a motion to adjourn. Miss Sheila Samples makes a motion, and Miss Tammy Hardy makes a second, and all in favor? And this meeting is officially adjourned.
Go
Thank you
Cats.
all for coming. Go Cats.